Hey everyone! It recently occurred to me, as a huge Elton John fan I am, just how diverse and unique his fans really are. Because of this, I thought it would be cool to show the world how special his fans can really be through a video. So I decided to start with none other than myself. I hope you enjoyed this video from start to finish and find some similarities between us. My name is Brianna, and I currently live in the Metro Detroit area. I've been an Elton fan for about a year and a half, and I'm 18 years old. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. How could I be an Elton fan, as I was born in 1999? I wasn't even alive when he broke through at the Troubadour. I wasn't there when he came out in 1976, or when he married a lovely lady in 1984. I wasn't even there for The Lion King, or the tragic passing of Princess Diana. So how could I possibly know who Elton John is? I think it would be best to explain my journey into the discovery of Elton first. When I was 16 years old, I already had a vast knowledge of older music. For example, I was in love with some of the founders of rock and roll, people like Elvis, Little Richard, and Jerry Lee Lewis especially. This is because I'm an old soul, and I've been playing piano since I was 3 years old. So I naturally took a liking to people who knew how to rock on those keys. It wasn't until one day, though, that I was fed up listening to some artist over and over. I wanted to discover something new, something fresh, but for me, that would be an old song before I was born. For many people, disco and hair bands were a classic sound of their youth, but for me, it was something entirely different. There was so much for me to explore, and I usually found older music on YouTube. And that's exactly how I found Elton John. I was searching through a classic rock playlist on YouTube when suddenly a video of Elton popped up, and it just so happened to be a beautiful live performance of Tiny Dancer in 1971. When I initially saw this video to Tiny Dancer, I recognized the song, and I really liked it. It's likely that I heard the song on the radio growing up, as my parents are all fans of different types of music, including Elton. So it was no surprise I enjoyed what I heard. But then I found myself watching the video again, and again, and again. And the more I watched it, the more I found something new I liked about it. By the 10th time I played the video, I was pretty certain that I needed to check out more videos of this guy named Elton John, because he was just so incredible. And of course, I took a natural gravitation to him because he played piano like me. So then I went on YouTube to look up other popular songs by him, and I was extremely amazed with just how many songs I recognized. Crocodile Rock, Your Song, Benny and the Jets, to name a few. But then it was the music video to That's Why They Call the Blues that totally stood out to me. He was dressed in the style of a retro barbershop quartet with those fancy boater hats, and I have to admit, I thought and still think he's so cute. This is an easy choice for me. My favorite album is Sleeping with the Past, and my favorite song is also the title track to the album, Sleeping with the Past. This was my first ever record of Elton's, given to me on my 17th birthday last year, so it holds a close attachment to me. Not to mention, it is also a fantastically brilliant record, and not a single song could I ever skip on it. It's a golden record through and through. As for the song, Sleeping with the Past, it has got me through extreme pains in my life. When Elton shouts, "Come on and shake this shadow that you're clinging to," I feel as if he was directing that message straight to me. But there are many of Elton's songs that I consider number one in their own special way. The Power, a duet with Little Richard, comes to mind first. This song was my first real introduction to Elton before Tiny Dancer in a sense. I recall listening to the song because Little Richard sang on it, saying to my friends, "Hey, check out this awesome duet between Little Richard and some guy." He's not really some guy anymore, is he? Like Elton John, I absolutely love him! In fact, I love him so much it hurts occasionally. There are so many reasons why I love this man from head to toe. If we start with the obvious, he's one hell of a revolutionary singer and pianist. He shaped the face of rock and roll. He was and still is a big, bright, and flashy megastar. And it's for a good reason. You're captivated by watching him pound on that piano. His talent exceeds far beyond this universe, as he is a constant hit-making machine. And when he hits those falsettos, you just think, God, what kind of extraterrestrial thing are you? He's a rocket man. You also can't help but to notice his kind heart. I love him for that. The work he has put into helping end AIDS and the prejudice along with it is truly incredible. He is so dedicated in what he does. In music, sports, AIDS, whatever it may be, he's a champion to me. And a hero to so many others. What I love about him the most is that every day he saves somebody's life in one way or another. And he still continues to be humble to this day about it. Fortunately, yes, although as of right now, only once. But I am very grateful that I still had that chance. It was September 28th, 2016, at the Huntington Center in Toledo, Ohio. I know fans say this a lot, but it was seriously the best moment of my life. Immediate adrenaline and nerves kicked in as the intro to Funeral for a Friend began. And when Elton hit the stage and I saw his face before my eyes, I couldn't help but cry an ocean of tears. It was so emotional for me because I was finally seeing the one who meant so much to me. I had seats in row 13, but they hardly lasted very long. Near the end of the show, I had already snuck up my way to rows 3 and 4, and he smiled and pointed right at me. Sadly, I was too love-struck to get it on film, but I did get the rest of the show as much as I could. I met a lot of wonderful fans that night. It was the fans that helped make the experience the best it could for me, and I thank every single one of them for that. You just had to have been there to experience the sensation of love that I was feeling deep inside. I don't think you can really describe Elton's fans. No two of us are alike. With many artists, you generally get a predictable crowd. For instance, a punk rock band might attract a few rebellious folks, and a gospel group might attract a mostly religious crowd. But with Elton, it's not like that at all. You get fans all across the globe. People who don't even speak English or have a clue what he's singing admire, love, and respect his songs. And that's what's so great about us. You get some fans who like the deep tracks, and some who are totally crazy about the hits. You have some lifelong fans, some new fans like me, or fans in between. And best of all, you get an all-age audience with Elton. He draws attention to the young and the old, and I'm your living, breathing proof of that. With him, there's no set-in-stone age when you can become a fan. He's appropriate, established, and practically a household name. Everybody loves themselves a little bit of Elton John. Because of his diversity of fans, I think that is what'll help keep his music live on forever, besides the fact that he's quite obviously a legend. Actually, yes. Allow me a moment to sort of brag here, but this is my most prized possession. I wrote a letter to Elton in June, and he not only read it, but responded with his autograph in a way I wasn't expecting at all. He wrote, "To Brianna, thank you for your beautiful letter. Love, Elton." I thought this was just too sweet because I know it must have meant a lot for him to call it beautiful. It is very precious to me, and I cherish it as a diehard fan that I am. I only hope each day that I will have the chance to meet and speak to him in person now. I am so fortunate to not only receive his autograph, but to know that he knows just how much I love him. I'm also very lucky to know so many of his fans who have become very close friends to me, which I love so much. I don't even know what my life would be like without them or Elton. I couldn't even picture it. So, I dedicate this video to you, and every Elton fan that has ever walked and graced this planet Earth, because how wonderful life is with all of us in the world.